You are watching the WD Broadcasting Network, your home for racing highlights, iRacing broadcast, commentary, and more. But here comes Jeremiah Woods. He wants to win in the Street Stock Showdown. He's hungry to get up to the front. If you are a fan of short track racing, the WD Broadcasting Network is your home for racing content in real life and on the sim. Follow the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button on YouTube to never miss an upload. Top spot away, Terzak once again into the back bumper. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight, we are back with the Leave the Pack iRacing League for the start of the Season 4 of the Street Stock Showdown. It's been a while since we've had Street Stocks here on iRacing. When was the last race? August 18th of 2025 is when we finished up Season 3, that was back at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. John Lyday went to victory lane that day, so it's been a little while, but we are ready to go back to our roots in Leave the Pack. Street Stocks were the first car that we ran in Season 1, and that was actually about 2 years ago. Drivers having a little bit of fun after their qualifying session. Gavin Gardner in the 55, making an appearance in the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown. Just recently picked up his first Leave the Pack win in the Grand National Series a couple months ago. Now you're defending Street Stock Showdown champion Dylan Connor onto the racetrack. Connor lap number 2 across the stripe. P3, 20.24. Good enough for third. Right now, Connor Knowlton holds the top spot. We'll show you guys the times. There is no cutoff. We've got 28 cars, it looks like. 27 have taken time. 29 cars, actually. But 27 have taken time. All within half a second, too. That's pretty crazy. We'll look at the full qualifying results in just one moment. As the checkered flag does fly. And it's now warm-up time. We're going to get one moment here. Or take one moment, I should say. And there we go. I think we are all good to go. There we go. Trying to get some of the background noise removed for you guys. Let's look at the full qualifying results now. Connor Knowlton, the driver that finished third last night in the 500 Sprint Car Tour Sim Series season opener. He goes to the top of the board, a 20.203, the fastest lap. And you can see just under 3/10 all the way back to Ryan Pittman. This is a very close field of Street Stocks here tonight. Carter Hollingsworth second, Dylan Connor third, Justin Coleman fourth, Chris Shepard fifth, Matt Elsie Jr. sixth, Gavin Gardner seventh, Jacob Hayes eighth, Chris Smith ninth, and Brian Grable rounds out the top 10. Look a little further back. We've got another row of drivers still. Only half a second, all the way back to 27th place. Noah Longier bringing up the back. We did have a couple drivers make it in after... Well, actually, I don't know if they were after qualifying or not, but we did have a couple drivers not take a time in the qualifying session. We've got about a minute left before we kick things off. Carter Hollingsworth currently holds the top spot in the warm-up session. Take a look at North Wilkesboro. It looks pretty straightforward as far as racetracks go. But as we saw last night, it did not race like your normal cookie-cutter oval. I see we have former Leave the Pack Mini Stock Madness winner Dave Leonard Jr. in the chat. Talking about potentially dusting off the iRacing rig. I think it's a pretty good idea. I think you might have to come join us for one of the street stock races this season. We've got 15 races, 14 weeks. We've got a doubleheader at Nashville at some point throughout the season. But it's looking to be a fun series, and we'll see the season opener here tonight. And it's now time to meet our starting lineup. We'll get the grid up for everybody at home. And starting on the pole, driver of the 270 machine here tonight, that's Matt Elzy Jr. The invert was a 6, so that's going to put Chris Shepard to his outside in 19. All very close times in qualifying. Gavin Gardner only missed that invert by 1/1000th of a second. The row number 2 on the inside, scored as the number 30. We'll call him by the number on the car, but that's Justin Coleman. Dylan Connor going to roll off 4th, your defending champion in the Street Stock Showdown in the 91 car. Row number 3, your top 2 in qualifying, Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. He's got a Street Stock Showdown victory, along with Connor Knowlton. He picked up, I believe it was a couple victories last season. I guess it was only one, but that was at Kern County, the season opener. Can he win back-to-back season openers? He started off on the right foot here tonight, going quick time. We'll see what he can do starting from the 6th spot. Rolling off P7 in the number 55 machine. That is Gavin Gardner. To his outside, Jacob Hayes in the 17. A little bit of a late entry into this series. Didn't have much free time on Tuesday nights, but decided tonight he was able to. Jumped in a little bit late, and he's going to start from the 8th spot. We'll see what he can do in the 17. Chris Smith in the 80 machine going to roll off on the inside of row number 5, and he'll have Brian Gravel, multi-time Street Stock Showdown winner, to his outside. Actually, I guess still looking for his first Street Stock Showdown win. Gravel, a multi-time Leave the Pack winner. Matt Bornger and Brandon Atkinson going to make up row number 6. Back behind him, Adam Fulford in P13, Andrew Turner P14, Stephen Choate P15, Jeremiah Woods P16, Zach Murphy 17th, Logan Drumheller going to start 18th, Brad Carpenter 19th, and Ryan Pittman round out your top 20 starters. We'll meet the rest of them a little bit later on as we head through the restart zone for the first time tonight. The green flag flies, and we are underway here at North Wilkesboro. Through the first set of corners there, Matt Elzy Jr. in the 270 holds the race lead, but he's got company from all directions. That's Chris Shepard up on the outside. He's going to be clear of Chris Shepard. Give the race lead to Matt Elzy Jr. 1 lap in here at North Wilkesboro. We've got 60 laps to go. It's going to be a long race, but it's going to be a matter of track position all night long. As you see now, the battle for the second spot. Coleman on the inside, Shepard up top. Wilkesboro, a very two-lane racetrack, especially here in these street stocks. We'll see what Justin Coleman can do. It's been a while since he visited Victory Lane in the Street Stock Showdown. He's a four-time winner in the series, but has not visited Victory Lane since Season 1. He had all 4 victories in Season 1. He would love to start this season off with a checkered flag. It's now to the inside of Chris Shepard. That's Carter Hollingsworth trying to make the move on the bottom. And now for the race lead up top, Justin Coleman looked to the outside lane. He's a little sideways, though. Can he make it stick? Elzy drives it off on the bottom. Side by side through 1 and 2, and Coleman up into the outside wall. That's going to allow Elzy to make up some ground, and here comes Carter Hollingsworth for second. Hollingsworth on the inside. We're 5 laps in this time, 55 laps to go. With excitement like this, it's going to go by fast, as now the battle for the second spot heats up. Hollingsworth down low. He's the driver that qualified second. Your fast qualifier, Connor Knowlton, lingering right there in the third spot, or fourth spot, as there's contact. Gavin Gardner and Jacob Hayes were 3 wide. Both of them up the racetrack. I think that was maybe Brian Gravel. No, that was Dylan Connor in front of him. Actually, that's Dylan Connor in the 91 there, and that's Jacob Hayes in front of him. They were all 3 wide and kind of got sideways center of the corner. Good job hanging on to it. But now you see Dylan Connor trying to work his way underneath Gavin Gardner. Gardner able to use that top lane. And you can see the field right now starting to get pretty spread out. We're to lap 9. Look a little bit further back. Jeremiah Woods, Stephen Choate. That is the battle for the 14th spot on the racetrack. A lot of cars right now, and so far everybody keeping it in the right direction. We come around to complete lap number 9. Brandon Atkinson in the 15. He picked up a couple victories last season at Stafford and Hickory, the 2 tracks he visited Victory Lane. And now 3 wide up in front of him, Gavin Gardner to the inside of Chris Shepard and Jacob Hayes. Shepard on the way outside lane. Jacob Hayes, the meat in the sandwich right now. Little contact, all friendly door-to-door racing right now. A little bigger contact down the back straightaway. And Gardner going to get the 2-for-1 right there. Chris Shepard going to be forced to back out. Move Gavin Gardner up to the 6th spot. As up front, we've had a couple changes for position. Connor Knowlton up to the 3rd spot. Brian Gravel up to 4th. And here comes Justin Coleman for the lead. Coleman on the bottom underneath Matt Elzy Jr. Can Elzy hold the race lead on the top? What does a 27 have on that outside lane? He's slideways through turns 1 and 2. And it looks like Justin Coleman going to be able to take the lead out front at North Wilkesboro. Justin Coleman back out front in the Street Stock Showdown. He's led over 200 laps in the series. Going to add to that total here tonight. And the caution flag is out. We've got trouble on the exit of turns 1 and 2. That's Carter Hollingsworth and Jacob Hayes. They have come to a stop on the exit. And not sure what happened there. Doesn't look like either car is severely damaged, but track position for both drivers gone right there. Let's see another look at that. Our KG Media replay. Hollingsworth on the outside lane. I think tried to cross over underneath Gavin Gardner, and Jacob Hayes was right there. Man, good job by everybody behind avoiding that one. A couple drivers had a close call. Let's watch that on board with the Fusion graphics, number 1. Contact there. Looked like the 28 just misjudged it, thought he was clear and was not entirely. And as I mentioned there was a couple drivers that had a close call. We'll go on board with Jeremiah Woods. This was out of the corner and right up in front of him. They all had to get on the binders. He got tagged from behind, but didn't really get too big of a bump. So we're going to send him back green here in a lap or two. That was a good run to open up the race. Biggest movers so far, Brian Gravel up 6 positions from 10th. Waylon Nelson in the 9, up 7 positions from the 24th place starting spot. Up inside of the top 15. We'll see what that number 9 machine can do if he can continue to work his way forward. As the lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car, Justin Coleman electing to choose the outside lane for this restart. And they will go through the restart zone. We are back underway, about 10 laps shy of halfway. Justin Coleman and Matt Elsie Jr. lead the field down into turns 1 and 2. Brian Gravel in that 22 machine in the 4th spot looks to the outside of Elsie. Down the back straightaway they go. Coleman into 3, clears Elsie for the race lead, and now Brian Gravel going to try to take advantage of that 4th place starting spot and get up to the outside of Elsie. We'll see what he can do as lap 20 now up on the board, and we've got trouble. Matt Vorndren in the 00 spun around. I think there was a couple of cars making some more contact after the fact. We'll watch that back one more time, but caution flag comes back out. A quick run there. Let's see what happened another time to Matt Vorndren. We'll watch it going down into turns 1 and 2. You can see he got turned to the inside. Waylon Nelson in the 9 sideways. Good job by everybody to save it back behind. Let's watch that another time back, try to get a better look at what happened to the 00. He's on the inside of Ryan Pittman there. Jaden Russell back behind him. Oh, and I think Pittman just got loose and got turned down the racetrack into Vorndren's right rear. Nothing anyone really could have done when Pittman gets loose in front of Russell. He's got cars behind him. He can't really just check up on the exit of the corner. So around goes Matt Vorndren. And that will put the caution flag back out. Ryan Pittman electing to go to the tail after that one. We don't do live race control here in the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown. We do what is called a claim rule. So if you have responsibility in that caution, or if you have fault in that caution, I should say, then you are to claim the caution and drop to the rear. If you don't claim a caution, you'll be penalized post-race. So kind of an integrity-based system. Sometimes it works and drivers are very honest and respectful about it. Other times it doesn't work, but worked pretty good in the Street Stock Showdown so far. Hopefully these drivers can continue to provide a good amount of respect throughout the field. As the lights drop on the iRacing.com pace car, we're going to send them back green this time. There is still 26 cars on the lead lap, 27. So still, anything can happen. We're 7 laps shy of halfway. Justin Coleman, your race leader, on the top side, gets a good launch through the restart zone. And we're back underway, 25 laps into this one. LZ on the bottom, trying to get the good run through the center of 1 and 2. Everybody better through the corner that time. And now Coleman going to have to fend off the 27 of LZ to the inside. Couldn't get that good jump on the restart. And now Matt LZ Jr. going to challenge for that race lead. LZ on the bottom, Coleman up top. Coleman able to get the run up off of the corner. The field's going down into turns 3 and 4. Look at Brian Grable in that 22. Connor Knowlton tried to shut the door, but Brian Grable said, hey man, I've got a foot in here. Trying to take over that 3rd spot. It's been a dogfight for that 3rd position between those two. Now that we're back under green, who can take the spot? You see Connor Knowlton tucking back behind. Doesn't want to stay glued to that outside lane just yet. A little bit further back, battle for the final spot in the top 10. Andrew Turner on the outside, Chris Shepard on the inside, and we've got one around. Jacob Holloway in the number 26 goes around. Watch what happened here. Just drove it off into the corner too hard. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 was also sideways. I didn't see what happened to him. But that 28 machine went for a slide. Let's watch what happened. Looked like he was battling with Jaden Russell in the 11. Russell went down into the corner, kind of threw a slide job almost. Looked like a dirt track moment. They made contact, and then Hollingsworth went around. And the cars definitely look a little tricky here tonight. We've given them a little bit more horsepower to work with, and that is providing an amazing challenge for these drivers. Gives them a little bit more maneuverability. If they're on the inside lane, they can drive it up off the corner. But man, can you really get that tire hot, and can you do it fast? We get the 2 to go signal there. Coleman, your leader. Second place is Matt LZ Jr. Brian Grable runs 3rd. Connor Knowlton runs in the 4th spot. Gavin Gardner rounds out your top 5. Brandon Atkinson runs 6th. Chris Smith runs 7th. Adam Fulford runs 8th. Chris Shepard runs 9th. Andrew Turner rounds out your top 10. Dylan Connor 11th. Jeremiah Woods 12th. Stephen Choate 13th. Zach Murphy 14th. And Logan Drumheller, your top 15 at this moment. The field doubles up behind the iRacing.com pace truck. And we are going to send them back green this time. Justin Coleman going to hope for a better launch through the restart zone that time. He wasn't able to clear Matt LZ Jr. down into turns 3 and 4. So we'll see what happens this time around as the pace car is back off, and we are going to send him back green just past halfway. It'll be 28 laps to go. Through the restart zone they go. A little bit of a bump from Connor Knowlton behind, and Justin Coleman is green down into turns 1 and 2. They're already looking 3 wide back behind him. And Chris Smith in the 80 machine goes around. And we've got carnage after the fact as well. And man, did that get big. Looked like Chris Smith in the 80 got tagged and came back up across the track. I think he was loose out of the corner, though. We'll watch that back from the restart. We'll watch that 80 machine on the inside of row number 4. See what happened on this restart here. They all looked 3 wide down into the corner. I think that was behind him, though. But what happened on the exit? I think he just drove up into the outside of Andrew Turner, and then around he went. A couple cars had nowhere to go. Noah Longyear had that one missed. You can see it up in front of him. He had it missed, and then got tagged there at the end. Got spun up into the wall. Jacob Holloway in the 26. Whoa. Came in there hot and got it stuck in the pit wall. So that'll put us back under yellow. I think the field's getting ready to go back racing here. Couple drivers taken out after that one. We've got 25 cars on the lead lap. And through the restart zone they go. Back underway. Justin Coleman brings us to 23 laps to go. Here comes Connor Knowlton, thinking about 3 wide down into turns 1 and 2. Matt Elsie Jr. gets a little bit loose, and now they're 3 wide for second. Back behind, Justin Coleman clears for the race lead, and now there's contact. Grable up the racetrack a little bit, and Elsie spins in the 27. Matt Elsie Jr. spins in the 27 machine. There was another spin back behind them, but they were 3 wide. Down into the corner. Let's watch the 27 right here. Go back a little bit. You can see the 24 of Knowlton look to the inside. There's contact right there. They move up the racetrack a little bit, and then Knowlton kind of squeezed him off. And then back behind, you can see Longyear and Russell. I think that was Hollingsworth as well, going for a slide. Jacob Hayes in the 1 machine. Man, that was some pretty serious contact there. That almost looked like there was some frustration behind it with him, and I think that was Waylon Nelson in the 9. See what happened to Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. Looked like we got hit from behind. Watch that back one more time. See who that was that came in hot. It looked like contact kind of off the corner. I think Jaden Russell disappeared there, and there was maybe netcode contact. But under caution, we're inside of 10 to go. And man, Justin Coleman has as good of a chance as he's had to win a street stock showdown race in quite some time. We'll see if he can take the trip back to victory lane in the season opener. He was able to fight Matt Elsie Jr. for that race lead, but what can Connor Knowlton say about it in the 24? Let's look at what happens here. They'll come back to 7 laps to go. Connor Knowlton in the 24 on the inside. Justin Coleman on the outside. In the restart zone they go. Good launch from both drivers. They're going to be even down into turns 1 and 2. Knowlton pulls ahead, but just slightly. Justin Coleman going to try to use up that outside lane. We'll see what kind of a run he can get down the back straightaway. Here comes Knowlton to the inside. The 24 to the bottom, and caution flag is out. And they're wrecking out of turn number 4. Let's look at what happened right there. Looked like Noah Longyear got up into the wall. Devin Kelly in the 00 got up into the wall as well. Didn't really have anywhere to go. Missed it there on the backstretch. Yeah. Pittman in the 08 and Longyear come together. And there was more contact in front of him. Chris Smith was going around as well. What happened there? Even Choate down to the inside, and Smith in the 80. Got a little loose. Somebody came in there hot. So once again, back under the yellow. 6th caution flag. And Connor Knowlton is your race leader after that one. Question is now, what can Justin Coleman, Brian Gravel, and Gavin Gardner do on this restart? They're going to be inside of 5 laps to go. They've got a couple attempts at the green-white checkered need be, but we'll hope we can get it done this time. Knowlton going to choose the inside lane. That'll put Brian Gravel behind him in the 22. And this time by pace car going to move down to the inside. We'll come back this time to 2 laps to go. I think this will be one of our green-white checkered attempts. We'll see what happens into the restart zone, and we are back underway. Oh, and we've actually got 12 laps to go. Forgot it was a 60 lapper there. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought we were on 50, but 12 laps to go now for Connor Knowlton. So scratch what I said about green-white checkers. We're back green, coming back to 11 laps to go. Knowlton in that 24, having to defend for his life for that race lead. Justin Coleman on the outside, starting to lose a little bit of grip in that 14 machine. Connor Knowlton in the 24, drove it down to the bottom right there. Brian Gravel had to get out of it going into turns 3 and 4. We'll see what Gravel can do. Looks up to the top side, gets a little sideways, but can he make it stick up off the corner? Battle for second. Gavin Gardner looks to the inside. Gardner down low, Gravel up top. This time by 9 laps to go. 9 to go for Connor Knowlton. Trying to run away with this one. They're battling for second back behind. That's exactly what he wants to see in his rear view. But can Brian Gravel clear that 55? There's a bumper from Justin Coleman in the 14. Gavin Gardner in the 55 now going to have a chance to clear into the corner. And how about Brandon Atkinson tonight in the 21 car, trying to work his way up inside of the top 5. Right now he runs 5th, but trying to work his way up forward even more, trying to get the podium. This time by, we're coming back to 6 laps to go. 6 to go. Justin Coleman having to defend from Brandon Atkinson. Atkinson looks underneath, but Coleman able to get the run on the top side, and now Brian Grable puts the bumper to the back of Gavin Gardner, shoots him up the racetrack a little bit. Grable going to try to look underneath down into 3. There's a bumper to the 55. And this time around, 5 laps to go. 5 remain for Connor Knowlton, trying to pick up his 2nd career Street Stock Showdown victory. And now 3 wide almost for the 5th spot. Adam Fulford dives underneath Brandon Atkinson, takes the 5th spot away, and now going to try to take 4th from Justin Coleman. How about Fulford late in this one? Does he have something left? Zach Murphy as well, trying to move his way forward. Up into the 7th spot there. This time around for Connor Knowlton. 3 laps to go. 3 more times around. He's got Gavin Gardner closing that gap, though. Gardner starting to get closer and closer in the rear view. This time it'll be 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks up in the air. Gardner is right there on the back bumper of Connor Knowlton. Knowlton gives him room to the top. Gardner going to have to use that inside lane. Is there enough grip in the 55? Down into 3 that time. Gardner makes contact into the 24. Here comes Brian Grable in the 22. This time around, white flag, final time in North Wilkesboro. The 55 of Gardner leads down into the corner. Here comes Connor Knowlton with a shot to the back of the 22 of Grable. Down the back straightaway, final time. The 22 sideways. Here they go into turns 3 and 4. Sideways is Grable. Up the racetrack, he and Knowlton go. And through turns 3 and 4, Gavin Gardner is going to win the Street Stock Showdown opener. And what an exciting finish. Gardner drove up there and stole it from Connor Knowlton. Grable thought he had a shot at it in the 22. And my goodness, what a final sequence of events. Going down into 3 and 4, Gardner, it looked like, made contact with Connor Knowlton. Let's watch that back one more time. My goodness, what a finish. Let's go back just a little bit. This is when Gardner looks to the inside of Connor Knowlton. There's contact there. They get it sorted out. And then Grable in the 22 drives down into 1. This is the white flag lap. Down the back straightaway, you see the 24 make contact. And then down into 3. The 24 just, I think, may have just hooked the 22 of Grable. I'm not sure what happened right there. We'll have to watch it back one more time. We'll try and grab the chase camera here. See if we can't watch behind Brian Grable. Yeah, he just drove it right into his right rear and hooked him. Man. Tough break for the 22. Went from 2nd to 9th on that final lap. There's definitely going to be some tempers after that one. Let's talk to our top 3 finishers, starting with our winner here tonight, Gavin Gardner. See if we can get him up into the broadcast booth. Our winner here tonight, Gavin Gardner, up into the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Alrighty, well, that was a pretty hectic final 2 laps. Walk me through your perspective of what happened in those final 2.
Yeah, it was pretty hard racing there with Grable. Probably 10 to 7 to go, I'd say. I finally got clear of him, and I figured it was over. I think Connor was like half a second out. So I literally said in VC, I said, "Good win, dude." But I figured out in 1 and 2 that you could run so low, and I was gaining literally probably a tenth every single time down there, and then just maintaining it in 3 and 4. So I was able to get to him. I don't really know what happened into 3 and 4. I gotta go look. I gotta go see if I came into him. He came down. I don't really know. But all that in 3 and 4 at the end, I thought Grable was gonna bounce up my left rear, and I would have been a lot more frustrated than I am right now for sure. But that was really fun racing. We actually ran some green laps. The yellows were pretty daunting for sure. But when we actually ran laps, it was really fun to race up there at the end for sure.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a lot of fun out there. Once we kind of got some of the yellows sorted out, it looked like a very fun track to race on. It looked like you could make things work more than we've seen in the street stocks previously. I think maybe some of the power being upped helped that a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I was very shocked at how well these cars raced. Like it seemed like at the start, the preferred line was definitely the top. But the more we ran, I don't know if I just get comfortable on the bottom better or if it just moved down to the bottom. I don't really know, but it was amazing racing, much better than I thought it would be. There was, at least up at the front, I don't really know about the back, but at the front, there was a lot more moving and a lot more physically racing each other, which you don't really see a lot in these cars, obviously. So it was a blast to drive. I didn't expect to be sitting here right now, even in the top 3, after how practice went. But yeah, I'll take it for sure.
Yeah, definitely cannot complain about picking up your first victory in the Street Stock Showdown. Who do you have to thank for P1 here in the season opener?
Yeah, huge thank you to JTT, Twisted Speed Shop, all my boys in VC, and to you, Pullet, Smith Tie, TJ Forged, Swift Springs, and yeah, we're gonna enjoy this one for a bit. I wish I could have gotten a little better in the sprint car last night, but I don't mind a 24-8 run there. So we'll take it, and I don't even know where we race these cars next week, but hopefully it goes just as like how tonight went, without the wrecking and more so winning. So we'll see.
All right. Well, congratulations to you, Gavin, on your win here tonight, and we will maybe talk to you next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, now we'll talk to our second place finisher. He was moving on those final couple laps. We'll see what he's got to say after that one. He had the best, or one of the best views for that finish. Adam Fulford, P2 here tonight. You were moving in those final couple laps. I think maybe if you would have had maybe 10 more laps, you might have had a shot at the victory, but still a great run for the 71.
Yeah, that was a chaotic last couple laps. Kind of wish I could have got by Coleman a little bit sooner. Feel like maybe 1 or 2 more laps, and definitely could have at least mixed some things up through there. Car was great. Just saved a little bit too much. Didn't really have anything to show for it. All this cautions kept screwing us up. So need a green flag run for what I was trying to do tonight. But yeah, still nonetheless, great run. It's been a loss to the ranch street stocks here, I'll say that.
Yeah, definitely took a little bit to shake the rust off, maybe. Didn't shake it off in qualifying. Qualified 13th, but you drove it off in the race, drove it up to second. How was passing in this car here at Wilkesboro? It was a pretty competitive field all night long. You were able to work your way through the field. How'd you do it? What was your secret?
Yeah, so qualified, I absolutely sucked. Should have just put it on the trailer and started at the back. But, a lot of people couldn't run the bottom. With me, I felt like my car was better on the bottom. The top, it just felt super unstable. I was able to keep it hooked on, right there on the apron, get a good drive off, pulled a good move over there on BA and Coleman. So yeah, it's just having to be patient with the extra power in these cars and the weight taken out of it a little bit. You could definitely spin the tires coming off the corner, so you just have to be patient with it and really set up your passes. But overall, like I said, a lot of fun. Couldn't do this without all my sponsors, though. Sunset Pest Control, L&A Tire and Auto, CarQuest and Supply, Coastal Performance, ECR, Coleman Designs for this rock and paint scheme as always, Rankin Race Engines, Miranda Racing, Wilkesboro Speedway, And obviously, you got to thank yourself, Winston, for putting on this league for us, everything you do. Blast. I don't know where we're racing next, but we'll figure it out. But other than that, I'm going to try and pull for the Hurricanes. Hopefully, I can sweep the Golden Knights in 4 games, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, congratulations to you, Adam, on second place here tonight. Hopefully we can talk to you some more this season, but congrats on a great run to open up the season.
Appreciate it, Winston.
All right. Now to talk to our third place finisher up into the broadcast booth. Third place here tonight, Brandon Atkinson. You started outside of the top 10, worked your way forward. Tell me about your run.
It was a good race. I'm not the biggest fan of these bigger tracks. I'm not as fast, so I tried to just hang out, get what I could when I could, and luckily it worked out for us. We had some good racing with a few people, and made our way to the front-ish. We were in a nice top 5, and then got help with that little wreck on the last lap, which we'll take all day long. But yeah, it was a good run. It was a fun race, so I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a lot of fun, and I asked the other two guys this, so I'll ask you as well. We put the power up to 110% in this car, which really isn't too much of a boost, but what difference did it make for you, or did you notice a difference at all?
Yeah, now that maybe a little bit coming off of the corner, it would step out a little bit more than maybe usual sometimes, but it was hard to tell without. If you wouldn't have told me, I would have never guessed. I would sort of thought it was a little bit looser on the setup, but I think it was fun. It added a little bit of a change into it for sure.
Yeah, it definitely looked like the drivers had a little bit more maneuverability, and like you said, they could slide off the corner. Maybe not intentionally, but they definitely were. Next week, we go to a track maybe more up your alley, Southern National, a smaller 0.4 of a mile banked oval. What are you feeling going into Southern National with a podium finish to start the season?
Luckily, we got a good start to the season here, and we got 9 races to go here. So I'm gonna try to put together maybe a good season and see what it looks like. Try not to do anything stupid, but I'm not the best at doing that. We always like going for wins, but try to put together a good season and look forward to Southern National and some of the smaller tracks coming up. But yeah, just look forward to running with everybody for the rest of the season. All these guys are really good, so there ain't no telling.
Yeah, definitely a very competitive group of street stocks here, and I think even as we get more, maybe not more people, but some other folks start to show up throughout the season, it's going to be a fun field, and I expect to see that 21 machine, or I guess it'll be 15 next week. We had a scoring error this week, but that 15 machine is definitely going to be one to beat all season long. And we wish you luck next week.
About that. Yes, sir. Thank you, WD. We love the street stocks, and we love being here, so we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you at Southern National. Hopefully you can have a good run, like you said.
We'll try to see you. Thank you.
All right, folks. That was your race third place finisher, Brandon Atkinson. Almost said race winner there, but let's look at our final finishing results. Man, things got hectic on that final lap. Kind of shook up the standings a little bit, but our finishing results: Gavin Gardner, your winner in the 55. That's his first career Street Stock Showdown victory. Adam Fulford comes home second. Brandon Atkinson third. Justin Coleman, and he led a lot of laps, comes home in the 4th spot. Good run, though. Matt Elzy Jr. comes home, Zach Murphy rounds out your top 5. Matt Elzy Jr. comes home 6th after recovering from that spin, so good run from the 27. Andrew Turner comes home 7th. Stephen Cho 8th. Brian Grable 9th. Carter Hollingsworth 10th. Jeremiah Woods 11th. Chris Shepard 12th. Logan Drumheller 13th. Jeffrey Anders 14th. Connor Knowlton 15th after leading, coming to the white. I guess leading, coming to 2 to go. Ryan Pittman comes home 16th. Jaden Russell 17th. Matt Borndren 18th. Waylon Nelson 19th. Chris Fleming 20th. Back behind him, rounding out our field, Owen Wilson 21st, Chris Smith 22nd, Brad Carpenter 23rd. That rounds out our lead lap finishers. Dylan Connor 24th, Jacob Hayes 25th, Noah Longyear 26th, Devin Kelly 27th, Jacob Holloway 28th, and Devin Lyons 29th. rounds out our field. Well, thank you guys for watching tonight's coverage of the Street Stock Showdown here on the WD Broadcasting Network. We've got the Leave the Pack, YourBigPlans.com 500 Sprint Car Series. The Sim Series coming up Monday night. They go to Southern National as well. Then the Street Stocks follow up on Tuesday. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss any of that action next week. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys maybe at Angola Motorsport Speedway if you're in the Indiana area. Check us out Saturday night. But until then, I am your host, Winston Deal, signing it off. See you guys at Southern National. Peace out.